Mahsa Amini was a young woman who died in protest of Iran's repressive regime and its oppressive-style morality police. Her story is emblematic of the struggles faced by many Iranians for their basic rights to freedom. Mahsa's death prompted anti-government protests all across Iran, with images of Mahsa and her plight reaching all corners of the world. The video delves into how Mahsa's death was caused by this repressive machine, exploring the aftermath of her passing, as well as what it means for the future of Iranian citizens. Join us to explore the stories behind Mahsa Amini's tragedy and uncover what it means to be protesting against Iran's repression machine today.
In Iran, the government is cracking down on demonstrators following nearly a week of mass protests over the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini.
Mahsa Amini's family claim she was attacked after being arrested by the morality police. They say she died of natural causes.
Mahsa Amini's death in the custody of Iran's morality police has triggered outrage not just in the country, but all across the globe. People from several parts of the world have been rallying support to Iranian women.
On September 13th, Mahsa Amini was brutally detained by the government's morality police. The young woman had been accused of improperly wearing her hijab and was subsequently loaded into a van where she was beaten. Afterward, she was sent to an area detention center, whereupon her health deteriorated, causing her to collapse into a coma. 3 days later, she passed away at a hospital, prompting an outcry from citizens. In response to the public outrage, Iran shut down the country's internet in an attempt to quell the protests. The death of Mahsa Amini was brought attention to the oppressive activities of the morality police and prompted widespread protest throughout Iran. Her death has become a rallying cry for those opposing Iran's repression machine, with people taking to the streets in search of justice and an end to this repressive regime. In response, authorities have cracked down harder on protesters, arresting large numbers and using force against them. Citizen outrage has been bubbling up over the last 3 months. This has included videos of women cutting their hair, a form of protest against the regime's mandate that they stay hidden under their hijab. The morality police are just one set of forces amongst many that have been used to maintain control and intimidate citizens, with the protests being broken up violently in many cases. Even so, the collective outcry shows no sign of dying down anytime soon. Videos of the protests against Mahsa Amini's death have given us a clearer view of the power structure Iranians seek to change. This structure dates back to when Iran was a secular monarchy operating as an oppressive dictatorship. Despite economic growth transforming it into an industrialized nation, Iranians were unable to express their political opinions freely and lacked social freedoms. It wasn't until widespread unrest and calls for new Islamic rule that the regime fell, culminating in the army declaring neutrality and paving the way for today's Islamic Republic. Although the neutrality of the army was largely responsible for the rule of the Islamic Republic in Iran, it also caused mistrust between revolutionaries and the military. To address this, a new force was created, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. IRGC is a powerful force in Iran, serving as the main player in the country's repression apparatus. The Iranian morality police are a force of government-sanctioned enforcers, tasked with maintaining public decency in the Islamic Republic. Established by decree of Iran's leader, Ruhollah Khomeini, in April 1979, the IRGC is tasked with defending the Islamic system and providing a counterweight to the traditional armed forces. The IRGC has a wide range of responsibilities, from intelligence and security to paramilitary land, air, and sea forces and special operations. The IRGC has been accused of using secret police methods against its own citizens, including arbitrary arrests and torture. It has also been implicated in human rights abuses abroad, such as supporting terrorism and propping up oppressive regimes like Syria's Bashar al-Assad. In recent years, it has become increasingly involved in Iran's economy, controlling large swaths of industry through its network of companies. This organization proved essential during the long-running conflict with Iraq and has since established a strong economic influence, resulting in increased domestic security roles. Evidence suggests that the Basij, a paramilitary volunteer militia under IRGC control, were involved in violent suppressions of protests, with videos featuring them beating protesters with weapons and firing guns into crowds. The IRGC has become an increasingly important part of Iranian politics since its founding 4 decades ago. It wields significant power within the government and is seen as an influential voice on foreign policy issues. Its influence was particularly evident during the nuclear negotiations between Iran and world powers that led to the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA. In recent years, the United States has taken steps to target the IRGC for its destabilizing activities in the Middle East region. In 2018, President Donald Trump designated it as a foreign terrorist organization, the first time a state military force had been labeled as such, and imposed sanctions on its members. This move was widely criticized by other countries who argued that it could lead to further instability in an already volatile region. The government of Iran is a complex structure of unelected institutions and power structures that underpins the current Islamic Republic. Despite being technically elected, these institutions are in fact controlled by an appointed guardian council, who can influence the outcome of any elections and reject laws that could bring greater democracy to the nation. This oppressive control has led to widespread discontent among citizens who lack hope for meaningful reforms and fear for their lives due to recent violent crackdowns on protesters. Documents obtained by Amnesty International show that authorities have given orders to severely confront protesters, leading to the arrest of at least 18,000 people and the death of over 250 individuals, including more than 60 children. Executions have also increased in recent months, making it clear that any real change will require significant reform from within the system itself. Before we continue, be sure to take a sec to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap the bell icon to enable notifications so you can get alerted when we post new videos. For the past 2 decades, Iranians have taken to the streets to protest electoral fraud, government corruption, and economic hardship. This outcry has become increasingly more widespread, particularly amongst younger generations of Iranians who have grown up under a regime they did not choose. From schoolgirls setting their hijabs ablaze and replacing portraits of the supreme leader with slogans for woman, life, freedom, to public protests calling for complete regime change. It is clear that these activists are sending a unified message of dissent. But breaking down an established power structure that is designed to protect those at the top requires immense courage in the face of violent suppression. The Islamic Republic has created a system in which its citizens can no longer trust in the possibility of reforming from within, and the youth are left feeling as though there is nothing further to lose. As a result, censorship will be overcome by determined voices rising up against oppressive control and calling for true freedom and reform. Despite international pressure, however, there is no sign that Iran intends to abandon or weaken its Revolutionary Guard Corps anytime soon. As long as it remains at the heart of Iranian politics and society, it will continue to be one of the most powerful forces in the Middle East region. The death of Mahsa Amini, a brave young activist who spoke out against the repressive system and was silenced for it, will be remembered as a symbol of resilience in the fight for justice and equality, and why videos like this one will continue to be presented on this channel.